Hello folks, welcome back to another episode of my Sling Tsi build log. Today marks the end of week 2 of my build progress on the right wing kit. As you can see, I made some pretty good progress on the right wing. It's on the floor now. I have attached and riveted all the ribs and attached the rear channel, the stringers, and the bottom skin are all riveted except for one rivet. I'll show that later and explain why. So as of now, I'm working on some preparation work on the wiring harness that goes into the right wing. So I got the harness from Midwest Panel Builders. It comes with a bunch of wirings. I think they have one set of cable for the right wing and one for the left wing. So I'm processing the right wing right now. So what I'm trying to do is to get an extra layer of protection onto the wire before it goes into the wing, because I thought, if once it goes in and I fully close the skin, it hopefully will be permanent. So I want to provide as much protection as possible beforehand. So one interesting thing to point out on the harness is that from the Sling build instruction, the only two electrical components that goes into the right wing are the position lights and the taxi landing light. And I have identified the pin outs connections for those two. I believe these are for the landing lights and stuff, and these are the position lights, strobe, nav, all that stuff. What's interesting is there's a set of extra pin outs connectors that comes with the harness. So I was a little confused on what they are. So I asked the folks from the Facebook build group. One person suggested that this is probably the OAT sensor probes, outside air temperature sensor. I think they're probably right. I will probably send an email to confirm with the Midwest Panel Builders before I proceed. But it does make sense. I think I've seen some discussions where people people say moving the OAT to the inspection panel on the right wing will have better performance. It has a better, more accurate reading compared to the factory suggestion pace. So I also ordered some plastic grommet to replace the rubber ones that comes from the factory. They should come in a couple of days, so then I will be able to put the wiring in after I got the plastic grommet. The other thing I want to show you is earlier I said I riveted everything except for one rivet. So that is because of this rivet. So I'm looking at rivet 9 here. I'm sorry, the rib 9 here. And I'm leaving this rivet empty for now because I'm not sure if you can see it clearly. The clearance between the rivet hole and the rib is like 2 millimeters. It's just not large enough to put a rivet in and squeeze it. So I'm thinking I probably have to do something to provide a larger clearance. So on the Facebook community, someone suggested that I will need to cut a little bit of material off this rib and maybe sand it and whatever to make this gap larger. I think that makes sense. I have already sent an email to Sling Technical for them to confirm this is okay to do. Then I'll probably just do that sometime next week. Then I think after this and the wirings, I will be ready to move on to the top skin. And another thing is for the flat top tube, see here, after I put in the rivets to permanently bind the rib and the bottom skin, it's not as flexible now. It takes a little bit of friction to move to rotate the tube here. So I'm again a little worried that this might not be the degree of flexibility that the sling requires. So, but if I just push the rib to my side a little bit, friction becomes virtually zero. You see, it just free falls by gravity. So what I'm hoping is when I rivet the top skin, I think rib 1 and rib 6 are going to be the one I rivet first, and then I'll be able to test this tube's movement and make some adjustments if necessary, to make sure this rib's angle is perfectly aligned with the in relationship to the tube and to the skin. Okay, and another thing is when I was installing the rear channel, let's see, so this guy, when I installing this guy, I kind of messed up on the order of the installation. Um, so on the Sling instruction, they suggested to reinstall the rear channel later after all the ribs are riveted. Otherwise, the channel will have a obstruction to when I pull the rivets, and that is true. I think for other builders, if you haven't done this, make sure to rivet the rear channel at the end. I actually installed the rivet channel before the ribs, and it definitely caused me some headache to pull the rivets. So what I ended up doing is that I was able to pull the bottom rivets as instructed from from outside to inside, but I wasn't able to get to have access to pull the top rivets. So I pulled the top rivet from the other way around. From structure perspective, it's the same. It won't have any difference in strength, but the butt of the rivet is actually pointing out. The reason they want me to pull the rivet from outside in is because they want to have a slower profile from the outside, especially on the bottom two rivets, because later on when I install the flaps, that's where it will likely make there's going to be a very tiny clearance between the flap and the main wing component. So I think by pulling the bottom two rivets from outside to inside, I will have enough clearance on the flaps. The top two shouldn't matter, but yeah, fingers crossed. I think the worst case is I'm gonna have to drill out this entire row of rivets. I think there's gonna be like 150 of them or so. Remove the rear channel, reverse the rivet directions, then put them back in. So I hope I don't have to do that, but fingers crossed. I think I think that's kind of it for this week's progress. Hopefully next week I will have the wiring in, and I'll get started on the top skin and aileron and the flaps. See you next time.